Jason kicked a pebble down the sidewalk. He was bored. Summer stretched before him, long and empty. Just another ordinary day, he sighed. Jason wasn't particularly strong or fast. He wasn't the best at video games or drawing. He was just ordinary. As he shuffled home, he wished anything would happen to make his summer more exciting. Later that day, Jason was exploring the attic in his house. The attic was a place he rarely visited, filled with old memories and forgotten treasures. Dust motes danced in the sunlight, filtering through a cracked window, creating a magical atmosphere. The beams of light seemed to guide him towards something special. He spotted a dusty old chest, tucked away in a corner, almost hidden by the shadows. With a mix of excitement and apprehension, he cautiously opened it, the hinges creaking in protest. Inside, nestled in faded velvet, lay a gleaming orb. It looked ancient, yet it shone with an otherworldly light that seemed to call out to him. It pulsed with a soft, inner light, almost as if it were alive. The gentle glow filled the attic, casting eerie yet beautiful shadows on the walls. As Jason reached for it, the orb emitted a blinding flash, filling the room with an intense light that made him instinctively shield his eyes. Jason squeezed his eyes shut, his heart pounding in his chest. He felt a strange energy coursing through him. When he opened them, he gasped. The attic looked different, almost transformed. The orb had done something, but what? He stared at his hand in disbelief. It was gone. He couldn't believe his eyes. One moment it was there, and the next, it had vanished into thin air. He waved it around. Still gone. He tried to touch things around him, but his hand remained invisible, as if it had never existed. He concentrated, and his hand slowly reappeared. It was a strange sensation, watching his hand materialize out of nowhere like a ghost coming back to life. The orb had made him invisible. He marveled at the glowing object, realizing its incredible power. Excitement bubbled up inside him. The possibilities were endless. What could he do with such an amazing ability? He spent the rest of the day flitting around the house, unseen. He moved silently, like a shadow, exploring every corner without being noticed. He played harmless pranks on his family, making objects disappear and reappear, leaving them utterly bewildered. His parents and siblings were confused, looking around in astonishment as items vanished and reappeared in different places.
The next day, Jason decided to take his newfound ability outside. He wandered through the park, enjoying the startled gasps from people he passed by unseen. Then he heard it, the unmistakable sound of someone crying. He followed the sound to a secluded bench. There he saw a group of older kids surrounding a smaller boy. They were teasing him, pulling at his backpack, calling him names.
Please just leave me alone.
Oh, what's the matter? Gonna cry some more?
This isn't right. I can't just watch this.
Jason's initial impulse was to turn and run. He wasn't brave, he usually avoided confrontations, but then he saw the fear and helplessness in the smaller boy's eyes. It reminded him of how he felt when kids picked on him. A surge of protectiveness washed over him. He couldn't just stand here and watch, he had to do something. Jason took a deep breath and activated his invisibility. He had been practicing this for weeks, and now it was time to put it to the test. He crept closer to the bullies, his heart pounding like a drum in his chest. Each step felt like an eternity, but he knew he had to be brave. He materialized right behind them, his presence unnoticed. The bullies were too busy tormenting a smaller kid to see him. He made a spooky noise and rustled some leaves, trying to sound as eerie as possible. The sound echoed in the quiet playground. The bullies jumped, spinning around to face the source of the sound. They saw nothing but the empty playground behind them. They looked at each other, fear creeping into their eyes. They had never experienced anything like this before.
What was that? Did you hear that? One of the bullies whispered, his voice trembling.
Who's there? Another bully called out, trying to sound brave but failing miserably.
Jason repeated the noises, this time adding a ghostly wail. He could see the fear growing in their eyes. The bullies, convinced they were dealing with a ghost or worse, dropped the backpack and fled in terror. They didn't even look back.
Wow, did you see that? One of the kids who had been bullied exclaimed, his eyes wide with amazement. Those bullies just ran off, another kid added, still in shock at what had just happened.
You're safe now, Jason said, his voice calm and reassuring. Don't worry, they won't bother you again, he promised, knowing he would always be there to protect them.
Jason stood there, visible again, grinning triumphantly. He felt a sense of pride he had never felt before. He had discovered not just his power, but his courage too. This was just the beginning of his journey as a hero.